for me to be able to open my own practice and practice how I wanted to. So my husband and I, we packed up a truckload of stuff, and we were moving out to Colorado for 6 months. I was going to train out here. Then I was going to travel back to the Carolinas, and I was going to get to open a practice and practice the way I wanted to and own that. Well, everything worked out great, except for 2 months into living in Colorado. We decided that we loved Colorado way more than the Southeast, so we stayed here. So my parents and everybody back in Spartanburg was real sad, but everything worked out great, and by 26 years old, I was able to own my practice in Lakewood, Colorado, and we were able to basically build the practice of my dreams. I started seeing 300, 350 patient visits a week, and life was good. It was exactly what I wanted. It was the practice of my dreams. But the thing about dreams, if you're anything like me, once you accomplish them, it's kind of like, well, what's going to be next, right? What do I do next? Most chiropractors that I knew and were friends with, we build this practice, and we see our patients, and we live the rest of our working careers in this one practice. And as much as I love that, I started thinking, is that what I want to do? I knew I didn't want to, or I wasn't able to see 1,000, 1,500 a week, but was there a different step that I could go to? And so about 1.5 years ago was when we started talking, me and my husband, okay, should we open a second practice and help somebody the way basically I had been helped? So last July, my husband convinced me, Brian in the back, he said, let's take 2 weeks off. You've never done that in 5 years of being in practice, and let's take a week of that and charter a sailboat. In the middle of the British Virgin Islands, just me and you, 32-foot boat. Now, this scared the crap out of me. But I said, I used to sail. It'd been 8 years since I'd been on the ocean, 6 years since we'd owned a boat. But I said, all right, let's do it. So we get down to the British Virgin Islands, and that first night we sail on the boat, and I was getting the ropes of it. And right about then, this weather system moved in. It was called a tropical wave. And it brought 7, 8-foot seas and 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. And we tied the boat to sleep for the night on this little mooring ball in the middle of a cove. And that night was rough. It was when we weren't being knocked over by the waves. We were spinning in circles. There was no air conditioning. And I woke up and I said, all right, I said I could do this. Let's pressure on. So the second day came and went, and it was about the same. And by the third day, we said, let's not sleep in the middle of the ocean. Let's find a dock to get on tonight. We can have air conditioning. We can have dinner on shore. Things are going to be better. So we were going to this Bitter End Yacht Club. It was about 5 hours sail away, and we get about an hour away, and we need to take down the sails because to get to the dock, which was about an hour away, we needed the motor. So I'm bringing down the sails in the crazy wind, and Brian starts to turn the engine on, and the boat is dead. There was no way we were getting this motor on. So I start to panic as we're getting thrashed into the waves, and I get this emergency phone, and I call the charter company, and I said, oh my gosh, our boat's broken. We're in the middle of the ocean. I have no idea what to do. It's been 3 days since we started out. What do we do? So a few minutes later, checking everything, we come to the conclusion that one of our dock lines at the front hadn't been tied correctly, and it had fallen in the water and wrapped up in the engine. The propeller wasn't working, and our boat was useless. So there was no way to fix this other than to figure out who could rescue sail us back, and that person was 9 hours sail away if we set the sails and the coordinates right on the money. So that's what we did. And 9 hours is a long time to be on this boat, wondering if you're going to drown, wondering what's going to happen. And so we had lots of tears and fears. There were some beers there too. But finally we get there, and this rescue boat comes, and Giles, the rescue sailor, he jumps on board, and he takes over, and there's this little 20-foot slot in the seawall, and he gets the boat on its side, and all of our gear was coming down, and banging all over the cabin, and we get in the seawall, and then he takes this turn to the dock where we're going to be safe, and a gust of wind comes, and it crashes the boat actually into the dock. So all three of us are on our butts in the floor, and we get our bearings, and we help each other up, and we understand that the boat doesn't have a lot of damage. And so one of the worst days of my life, or the scariest days, finally had finished. I was done, we were safe, everything was good. And that lasted about 5 minutes when they said, all right, we're safe. Sailor or a diver's going to come first light. You need to leave and get back on the ocean at 8 a.m. I was like, well, we just got here. I'm just safe. So needless to say, 8 a.m. came really, really early the next morning. And we start pulling out back into the ocean, and I looked at Brian and I said, you know what? I give up. I tried this. This was going to be a fun adventure for us, but I looked up this nice resort. It's on the island. They actually have servers that bring you umbrella drinks. I'm done. I cannot finish this sailboat trip. And he looks at me and he says, you know, I'm surprised because are you really ready to give up on something that you started? And after thinking about it, I said, you know what, you're right. I guess I'll continue on this journey. And so while it would have been easier and more comfortable in every single way to turn back and sit on that beach and be served umbrella drinks, it wasn't the easy route that I was looking for because I would regret not completing this journey for a long time.